Good
Okay.
to go.
All right. Thank you. Well, welcome to Coreum Concepts. Thanks for coming by the channel today. It's my pleasure to have Rize. I have Mark and Haley with me to discuss a DeFi hub for Web3 that's being built on Coreum, third generation blockchain. It's designed to enhance the communities of the Web3 space. Rize has many ideas to achieve this: a decentralized social media hub, community focused dApps, incentivizing, and this part excites me is the education component of it. I think that's very important, and growing the community. So they say together we can improve what the space, communities, and builders are a representation of, and that caught my interest. I'm very happy to have them here today with us to learn more about their project. So, Mark, Haley, thanks for joining me, and tell me a little bit about yourself and your journey into the blockchain space and how Rise came to fruition.
Oh goodness. Blockchain just sort of popped about. It was maybe about 5 years ago. We heard about crypto multiple times. We had friends who were like, "Oh, buy Bitcoin, buy this stuff," and
We just kind of blew it
yeah,
up at the
kind of
time.
looked at each other just like this, like, eh. We enjoyed our hard working lifestyles. We were multiple jobs, carpenters and business owners and other facets. Haley was a licensed cosmetologist, and I was running a home improvement company, and then she ended up coming to work with me because she really liked some of the stuff that I was doing. And then we ended up building a pretty decent sized business out of that. Had a lot of fun with it. And then it just kept coming up and coming up. So started studying it some more and looking at different technologies and what that really meant. And yeah, we're just like, wow, doesn't look like this Bitcoin thing is the answer, but I see a lot of people making money off it. So let's just wait until shit looks really bad. And we waited and we waited, and it went good a couple times, then it went bad again. And then right after COVID, it was like, oh, wow, that's really bad. Let's buy some of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we uh, we bought a couple of those and then wrote it up till maybe 40 or 50K or something, and that sounded pretty good. So took out that, and in the process, it went like full time studying on it. Like I literally dropped all of the other all the Bitcoin and all the other stuff, and I was like, what's all this other stuff? This is like whatever mainstream media was pumping at us seemed to be full of shit. So we decided to,
We fell down the rabbit hole
yeah,
and just really went in on trying to study everything and anything that we could about the market and all the different coins that are out there.
yeah. Then really started looking at the different texts and then seeing, hey, this is not working here. What is right? And then XRP popped up, of course, and it seemed like it had the most controversy. So that was like, okay, that's probably where we should look first because that's the most controversy. And then start following the money, start really seeing where the how the markets were pumping and dumping, and looking like there's no way that retail investors could be pumping this much money into a market over the weekend. Like, oh, 150 billion dollars or 200 billion dollars, like that's not retail money. So you know that there's some good manipulation going on. And then we started understanding the markets more. I really never understood markets or really did that. So I turned it into a double full time job. It was like 80 to 100 hours a week of just cranking knowledge in, listening to YouTube videos as I fell asleep to turn it on as soon as I woke up. She loved me for
Yeah.
that.
I can't tell you I fell asleep just listening to crypto videos.
Yeah. And then yeah, so just a lot of studying and then getting to read a lot of the bank documents, and just like, wow, this is super interesting. And then yeah, it was just we got really heavy into a lot of the other altcoins. It was XRP, XDC, HBAR, Algo, pretty much like what they call it ISO compliant. But then we came to realize like there's not really an ISO compliant, but there is. It's this weird thing. I think just somebody made it up along the way. Sure, there's ISO, but it's it's really relevant, I think, to the space as a whole. But it'll come together in the long run. And um, so airdrops sounded really cool. I was like, yeah, free money, let's get it. What does that look like?
Oh, goodness.
And then yeah, and then some of them were great, some weren't so great,
Mm-hmm.
and that felt cool. And we moved on, and I think the first year we made like $60,000 or more in airdrops. I was like, wow, that's a good one. But then it was like a lot of them ended up eating shit and turning around. So there was a lot of this up and down feeling about it still. And then
There was a big learning curve on it.
yeah, but then really realizing what um, listening to other people's struggles was, it's like going to like people that go like AA or NA. Sometimes it just reminds you where you don't want to go or don't want to be, but then you hear their struggle and you see what a bear market really feels like. And then we lost over $1 million this bear market, and that was like, wow, this is great. Um, and then even building the project that we're built now. Most of my assets I had to sell at a loss to be able to continue to build this in hopes of just even breaking even in the long run. But I really wanted to see something made that supported the community. So that's what it all came back to. It really came back to a journey that we did together. We were struggling with a lot of health issues and things like that, and just we needed to change life up. We weren't big into drinking or anything like that. I stopped drinking in 2013. She stopped drinking about 5 years ago.
Stopped drinking in 2017.
Yeah, and we just we're really clean lifestyles of water. We went fruitarian, we went vegan. We were just trying to really flush the body out and get clean. We were doing a lot of physical pain and just like autoimmune stuff, and got that cleaned up. And then we decided to go all out and went to the jungle for like 3 weeks in Ecuador and did an ayahuasca journey.
Oh wow!
And actually, we did a lot of them in a row.
Yeah.
And then we did another
We did ayahuasca and San Pedro.
Yeah,
there.
and San Pedro. That was very interesting, but very beautiful. It really opened up an energetic doorway, I feel, into being able to really feel with your heart again, and then see something like a lot of people's vision get clouded because they're trying to just keep up with the Joneses around them, and then you're not really making solid decisions. So
it gave us another perspective on life of what it truly was that we wanted for not only ourselves but for the community that we wanted to build around us as well.
And yeah, when we moved back, when we came back we were staying in Ohio at the time. When we went back, it was like, what are we doing here? We don't belong here.
It was like a good smack in the face, like, wait, what are we doing here? Why are we here? What is this?
And then I had the pleasure of going to Hawaii one day, and a friend was like, hey, I want to take you and just go enjoy. So I went and enjoyed. This was before I met her, and it always stuck with me like, wow, it just felt like such home when I went there. So I asked her if she wanted to go one day. We went to go check it out, and then we decided that we were going to try to move out there. We're like, it's expensive as shit, but we'll make it work. And then when we had got back from Ecuador, it was like it resonated so highly with us because everything was about a big part of the community that really lives there is about healing and just letting go of past trauma, and then helping the community and just live with that lifestyle.
It's really about the growth and evolution of not only yourselves, but also everything around you, of that being taking care of the land, taking care of yourselves, your neighbors, and then also taking care of the animals that live there, if you eat them or if you're just taking care of them or whatever the concept is. It's just really focused around that growth and evolution.
Just keeping a balance of equanimity in it all, and always giving back to the land whenever you take from the land. And so we try to build something around that. And then we both had a call in to help people heal past traumas because all of the trauma that we have been put through. We really wanted to give back in a way like that. So we're like, okay, let's get some land, let's build a retreat center, let's do this. And it felt like it was just the most right thing to do. And we get out here and it was like, everything seemed to be lining up. And all of a sudden it was like, oh, COVID. And then, oh, $20 million for a property.
Yeah.
And then there was no really market crash here. There barely ever is. So we've definitely been doing the work. We've definitely worked with a lot of people out here. Haley does some beautiful trauma release work with people. She does a lot of it remotely as well as in person. I do the same thing. I do the physical therapy with trauma release with people. It's just another aspect of what kind of drives us into our project. So we'll jump into some of that for you here. I'm a little bit more versed in it, but Haley has been picking it up on key, and she is my one to lean on when I need a good solid heart perspective, because she definitely has a very loving and caring and open heart. So it's just a way to make sure that our ecosystem isn't balanced on greed, and it's not balanced on our traditional financial system, which is this big pyramid, or however that looks in there. That's just all the money flows back down, and then they inflate us, and then they sell it back off, and just you get it, the whole shit system that we're at now. So we wanted to create something a little bit more cyclic, where um, rewards are really generated and given back to the community. And how can we do that? So it was a lot of tokenomics, just figuring out little basic things, looking at hundreds and hundreds of other projects, see where they went wrong, and they all go wrong because of their own greed and their own other lifestyle that they really want to live. It's like, why do you need to keep this much percentage of your token? Why do you need to do this? Like, is it really worth doing that? Can't you earn money as the ecosystem goes along? So instead of keeping our money and doing this, we decided to give most of it back that we made into building the project, and just knowing that in 3 to 5 years, just like a regular investment, that you'll normally at least make a good portion of that back, or you'll, or you won't. But at least it felt right doing it in the long run.
Yeah.
So the basis behind our lot of tokenomics is sort of like the symbol behind us. It flows in and through itself, and it tries to remain in that continuous loop. So we use Coreum's inflation to reward back its users, at the same time not just selling and dumping every part of the asset. We try to compound a little bit back into the ecosystem to keep the ecosystem secure at the same time, because they want to keep around 70% of it staked, just like you would Atom, just to help secure the network from big institutional investors buying it up and doing like what they've done to Bitcoin and all the other ones, where if they own 51% of it, is you have the attacks, and it crushes the ecosystem. And trying to keep something actually community based. So if we help reward a lot of that back to the community, then we see the sustainability in that. So a lot of our all of our proceeds from market sales, we charge a fee on any sale of an NFT, but it doesn't go directly to us. It goes into a smart contract, and then that smart contract is the escrow of the ecosystem, and that feeds back the ecosystem. For us to make money, we have to own membership NFTs ourselves, or we have to own some of our token, or just participate like anybody else would.
We have to buy it just like anyone else would in the market.
Yeah.
So in order for us to do anything, we have to invest.
We have to invest more money and more time, just like anybody else would. Even though we built it out, we didn't want to create any like we're the top tier of it all. The smart contracts are the top tier. The AI that is helping with the smart contracts will be the next part. I can't really delve too deep into that because of some of the partnerships that we're dealing with some of the proprietary information with it. But we got some pretty cool things that will be coming along. It's like a self-learning AI, which pretty much AI is, but then it helps integrate certain things in smart contracts to see like, hey, this is going to be sustainable. This is not. The community can end up voting on that to see like, okay, this is why it won't be. This is why it will help the ecosystem, and then that will be done in our member section, which we have 100 member NFTs, which will help guide the escrow around. So my goal is not to sell more than 3 to any person, and if I was doing that to one person, then they were promising to give them away to somebody else. Like we had a lady buy one, and she's going to give one to each of her children that are pretty versed in blockchain, but she wanted to support the ecosystem and be part of it, just to help create a little more decentralization. We've sold 30 out of 100. We can't really talk about the utility, otherwise we will be considered a security. So we can only say so much. A lot of these projects do it. We're going to give you 30% of this and 20% of that, and we're going to give you all these things, but you're setting yourself up to be attacked later. And it might sound good now, and it's a way to bring people in, but all we can say about them is there's a lot of utility. You get one of these badass little images right here, yeah, one of those guys.
Mm-hmm.
We could talk a little bit about that in terms of utility. Those are partnered with one of the largest unknown 3D AR virtual companies that are partnered with NASA. They help all of them. They just happened to do that recently because they showed them their tech. They've been tried. A couple major companies have tried to buy them out, especially video gaming companies because of what they do. Most people don't understand real 3D and AR concepts like Sologenics. They launched a 3D avatars for you, but they're just suits. They're not full constructed bodies that have a 3D model behind them, and you can use them in any virtual world. These are built out so you can use, like, if you want to go into old game Halo, you can upload this guy into Halo and like have it hold a gun, and you could be this weird floating orb and be like this
Wow.
thing in that time and space. But rather than shooting games and all of the same fuckery that happens with everything else, we wanted to tap into the soul or the heart, just the depth of yourself that we tend to block out.
We wanted to keep it in the fact of like in that growth and that evolution phase of helping us to evolve in the best way possible and to our best selves possible. So
So it was like, how the hell do we do that?
yeah.
How do we evolve with digital when a lot of people run from the digital because they think it's this death technology? I feel like we are the highest form of technology that there is as of now, and with the integration back into understanding the way that we were structured and created, we're learning that through technology. And it might feel like, oh, robots, this and this, but like if you really look at some of the technology and the organic single cell organisms that are basically robots at the same time, we're just coming closer to the realization of ourselves. But that's a little bit over somebody's head to some degree. So
Going deep into the weeds. But you know what? I'm actually thrilled. Like we haven't talked much before this. We're just getting to know each other now mainly, and it's amazing how the universe works. Like to hear your guys' mission here and your dealing with past traumas. Like one of my dreams in blockchain in this space, and I don't have a technical background at all. I just have an idea and the same interest of helping people dealing with the PTSD and the past traumas, because I think that affects so many people and it's not being addressed properly. And so my dream's always been to use blockchain as a means to build a space somewhere. I live in British Columbia, Canada, in my version of paradise, and I want to create a space out here that people don't have to have a lot of money to come and heal, and I kind of want to use a community to fund somebody that has a need but not necessarily the means to come to a place to heal like that. So I just find it so intriguing that we just put this together to meet each other and talk about your project, and I can see we're going to have more to talk about after this interview's over for sure, because now you got me very interested in some other things. So
awesome! It makes us, well, at least me, I feel it in my heart that you have that same energy. It's funny how the world brings us all together. The people that really want to heal and focus on evolution and just going back to your higher self, and it takes some work and it takes some really letting go, but in the end, it's the value is just outweighs everything else.
yeah.
Everything else material. Oh, these guys again.
Yeah.
Okay.
Those guys. They are 3D meditative objects. So what the developers have created with them is like Google's coming out with these glasses again very soon that are they'll be they look just like a pair of sunglasses or just a pair of little clear glasses. You can tap them and it'll black out your environment, and then maybe you can just see one of these, and then say you're having anxiety in that moment, right? Then it will talk to you through a couple algorithms that are built into it, and it's programmed with over 500 of the world's top therapists that only focus on how to heal you through you, not some external medicine or other factor. Like, hey, what is the thought process that are happening here? Let's break down your thought processes. Let's feel this out. Let's understand this. And then, say you're having an anxiety or panic attack, they will start to move and breathe and then talk to you and then have you do breath work with them to help you relax your body and then calm yourself. And it doesn't look like much on here. Actually, this is a very shitty view. This is like 1/16 of the quality because of what you can actually display, for one, on a Zoom meeting, for one, what you can display on most computers. But with a lot of the receiving technology that these glasses will have, everything will be pulled from the ethers, which or what they call CDNs. It uses a way to transfer data, so it moves data closer to you, and then it implements the object right there in real time. I've been walking down the beach and I hold up my iPad, and then you can pop one of these up, and it looks like it's on the beach right in front of you, floating around, sort of like they were doing with like Pokemon Go or something.
Yep.
And then you have that there, and you can play games with it or do like whatever. But when it's on the glasses form, it'll be a whole new world because it's like it's right there. You can ask it what to do, or you can say, hey, I need to create a safe space for myself right now, and you can it'll create worlds around it. Like right now you can kind of see like there's a little background around it. It has this like little doorway.
Yeah.
That doorway in the background, imagine like walking down the beach or walking wherever, and all of a sudden like, man, I'm just feeling really weird. I want to create a safe space for myself where I can just breathe and lay down. So you go and you're in the park, you lay down on the grass, and then you turn around and you see that doorway, but then you're inside this huge temple, and inside this temple is this 3D meditative orb rotating and then communicating with you or just breathing with you and like relaxing and
To
doing.
help settle the nervous system and help to actually give you that piece of serenity that most people are looking for in their day-to-day lives when they need that little bit of escape to reset themselves.
Yeah, it's pretty beautiful.
Yeah.
It
So much more than I was expecting. Like,
yeah.
you know, because I did do some research into what you guys were doing, and I got lots of questions on things that you guys have planned. But I mean, you guys haven't touched on this at all, as far as what I've found online. Anyways, like this is amazing. I'm loving it.
No, yeah, we're building the community slower than we wanted to. Like we're like, oh, we need more marketing, we need this, we need that, and it's like, no, we don't. Like people that are gonna come and be part of it are gonna be part of it. I've had to push off the launch date a few times just from we've got nine employees right now, developers all across the world that are putting stuff together. The people that just build these out and they're building a whole other ecosystem, they have 26 employees. Just doing focused on AR/VR. I mean, they are 3 years ahead of the game with anybody else, and they decided to work with us firsthand, and then that's where a lot of this other techs are coming in. Let's call these things like what are these? So right now these are called stelliforms, and maybe they are, maybe they do, or maybe they don't. I can't say for sure, but maybe they come with a special whitelist for another project that they're launching. They have these fully 3D interoperable avatars that are coming out that are, they're fully morphable. So it's just like they're an exoskeleton that you can implement over any character in any game and then have it look like anything you want, morph it. It'll be very interesting with like a lot of the metaversal work coming out, but of other things that you can do with it in such a positive light. You might want to go to a party instead of having to get all dressed up. Everybody's wearing their just regular glasses, but then you see all these characters that everybody want to be in their glasses at the same time. It's like
So it'll be like Avatar on steroids.
yeah,
Wow.
yeah, like fun costume parties that are just that. Like you don't gotta wear a bunch of hot outfits and put all this extra makeup on. It's like some part of that's fun of the process, but then sometimes just nice to have a quick clean up and go. Just really imagine it just for people that like to stay home and play board games. A lot of people have the introvert side, like, hey, let's pop our glasses on and we're sitting at our table, but we actually look like knights at a round table, or we're doing this, we're doing that, like really Dungeons and Dragons, like any of the popular games that people want to stay at home and play and really integrate other things that are good. And then even being outside, just integrating a lot of it. The glasses are also integrated with this AR tech, where if you're wearing Nike shoes and you look down at your shoe, a little app will pop up in your glasses and say, "Hey, you want to go for a run?" You could wave your hand, the app will start running, and it'll give you like a full-on running app. If you like certain things and you want it to display it, like, oh, I like people that drink Starbucks coffee. Like everywhere you walk around, it will pick up the information out of the world and see like, oh, there's somebody that drinks Starbucks. So like, it'll be easier to relate to people or create commonality in some certain things where a lot of people might um, feel a wall up or there's anxiety or distance in between the community around them because you're able to display certain things that you wouldn't normally display all the time. Like, hey, I want people to know that I like Starbucks, I work out at Planet Fitness, or I work out here, or I do this, I do these 10 things. And that'll be like your little public profile if you want it displayed. And then you can, so it's like you can, oh, hey, I see you do this, I see you do this, or hey, I only want this to be my friend view, not public view. You know, I don't
Right.
want the public to know this and this about X, Y, Z. So it'll create a lot of interesting dynamics, and for some people that's very scary because of the lives that they choose to live. They choose to live dark lives. They choose to live something where they want to keep a lot of something in hidden from the public, so that can be scary to
Hmm.
them because they don't want it coming out to light. Um, and in the long run, it's all going to come to light. So you know, you gotta face the reaper one way or another. You know, we all have some short time, so you might as well live your life to the fullest and the purest that you can. So that's our goal with some of the stelliforms. The We are not developing them. This is not our project. This is a project that we are partnered with, and they had the belief in our ecosystem because of how we decided to build the tokenomics and use the smart contracts to build the tokenomics. So again, any money that we generate goes back into the escrows that power the ecosystem. It doesn't go to our bank accounts. It doesn't go to our wallets. That's it. If we want to own it, we have to buy one of the NFTs. Um, if we want to own some more of it, we have to buy other NFTs. We have to support the ecosystem in general. We do run a validator node for Coreum. It's our first one. Yay! That was a fun disaster, and
It was a fun learning disaster, I'd say.
yeah, and but it all worked out good. The explosion was beautiful, and we're still here, and it's still floating. We didn't promote it at all, and we're very thankful for the community that supported us. So thank you, community, for helping us keep afloat. Even though we're number 32 on the list, that it's a little nerve wracking because it's like, oh, I don't really want to let people down, and you know them not earn staking rewards because if we have to shut down or partner with them. I've talked with two of the other validators, and some of them are a little overwhelmed with wanting to maybe stay in the ecosystem. They're like, oh, we thought we want to do this, maybe we don't. So we're working on possibly either we keep ours live or they keep theirs live, and then we come together and then
Okay.
promote together, and then just run another one that. And I feel like the decentralized stays there also. A lot of people pump a lot of these institutionalized companies holding it, and I truthfully don't like that because I think it takes away the community value behind what Coreum is supposed to be.
All right.
It's like, why
Well,
BitTrue, why this, why that?
and that's why I
Sure.
wanted to put this together with you guys. That's why I'm amazed at like everything I'm learning that I wasn't expecting to learn talking to you guys because I got this together to talk about the community validators because the timing to me was important. We got airdrop that's coming out today. Apparently, Rize has announced that it's coming. So I thought, well, geez, everybody's going to be getting 25% of their airdrop. It's going to be a significant airdrop for a lot of people. It was critical to get this discussion out there to make people aware. So, like, you might have your tokens delegated somewhere already, and that's fine. Don't have to move them. But when you get your airdrop, maybe you'll consider moving it to the community validators to help you guys get off that 32 position. Because, in my mind, we got a few. Coreum validators that they can occupy those bottom four spots instead of our community validators. You know what I mean? Like, so
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
so it's
they
so
definitely.
wonderful that there's so much more to this story than I was expecting. I was looking at it from the validator sense, so it's great to see that you're working on a solution, and I hope this video and some interactions on Twitter that we can get some more awareness for you guys because that's what attracted me to Corium is the community component of it, And what I'd like to
Yeah,
see is
definitely.
much like you guys said, Coreum wasn't out there advertising. The community just kind of organically developed, and to me, it was drawing in good people, and it was a community that I liked being part of, and so the validators, to me, it is important that the community is part of the, to make this blockchain grow to what it can be. And so I'm very thankful because I could see that there's a lot more going on besides your validator here that we can explore maybe another time. But what are, you said it was explosions. Like, so what are the challenges for setting up and running a validator?
Every hurdle for a validator that you could run into and not jump over, we ran into. So
Yeah.
that was cool. We're still running into some little hurdles in terms of just um, making the validator look a little bit better or presentable. The the understanding and studying of it was pretty intensive. I sent out a document to the Coreum team, letting them know like I wanted to be a validator, but I didn't get a response back. And I know that I thoroughly did my research, so I was a little bit disappointed on that because they were looking for higher end institutional validators. But I'm like, what do we need institutional validators for? When I think it was truthfully just to help get money in the ecosystem and then get support for advertisement. So it's like it's kind of leveraging the bigger companies to get their funds to help grow Coreum. Um, sure, it's an enterprise grade blockchain, but you're promoting it to us as a community like that, but then pushing out the institutional investors. So I was a little bit torn on some of that. Besides, the quality of their tech. So I was able to push through some of my discrepancies about that, and just see like, hey, the tech's really good. They have been blessing the community, keeping their word in terms of airdrops and making that stuff happen. I'm still a little confused about the last airdrop that we were supposed to receive for doing that, because I was banking on some of that money coming in, because I've asked for grants and some help to help grow the ecosystem that we're building, because we're not just building an NFT marketplace. That's just part of it.
Yeah.
And our goal was the multi-chain NFT marketplace, because why list your NFT just on AVAX, or why list your NFT just on XRP, or
Mm-hmm.
why, just like, we wanted to be able to bring
All of it together.
all of it together, and then you have all eyes on one asset. It's not just one community. Then it's really bring everybody together. Then it helps get away with some of this maximalism. So with the validator no stuff, I mean, not too many hurdles besides really understanding the tech and not just I'm trying to make money attitude, right? It wasn't just about making money. If it was about making money, I wouldn't have put $250,000 into this website. I wouldn't have put all that money into understanding it, and even some of it, I'm not going to say all of that went into 100% development. 100% did not go into development. I definitely used some just to figure out what the hell I was doing wrong. So,
Mm-hmm.
it is what it is. It was a learning experience with it, and I'm not mad about it at all. But the validator, once you figure out the way that the tech works, and you focus on how decentralization really looks, having your servers set up in different locations. Servers are just, you know, packs of hardware as computers. You can have them at your home. You can have them at other locations, and then you let those pieces of information store the blockchain data on there, and then you help secure the ecosystem. And the more that you are separated and spanned out throughout a community, the better. So yes, it does help to have some institutional investors on, because they have the funds to do that. Of course, probably Corey didn't have the funds to set all of these institutional and all of these validators up in different locations, and you know make all of that happen, and they want to be part of the community. So it's like they had to bring some people in, but it's like, when do you stop bringing institutional investors in? When What if two or three institutional investors own as much as they do now, say of Coreum, of the total circulating supply, and they decide to collab with each other and then merge, or just make a decision, and they say, hey, we're going to shut down all three of our validators today, right? What's that going to do to the ecosystem?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then that's a good amount of the supply that gets that could really put a damper on things, and not just that, but a lot of communities' futures that are involved into this. So that was my idea of really promoting the community validators and going back. It's like I've seen some of the people that are putting out advertisements about, oh, let's get in the number one spot or the number two spot or number three spot. Like, let's pump our bag to get like how about if you're already in the top 10, support some of the other community validators that are not at least in the top 10 to give us a chance to help rise up and be there.
Yeah.
And then you're helping really distribute power.
Yeah.
If you're trying to just get in the top 1 and the top 3, what are you trying to do with power? But have more power yourself.
Yeah.
Which
Especially
takes away from
the centralized exchange validators, right? Like, I mean, it's pretty clear there's a target on centralized exchanges, right? So, I mean, we put all our power into these centralized exchanges as validators.
The ones that screwed us over the multiple times during this bear market. Everything that went wrong was centralization from these things and people wanting more and more power. I don't want the number one spot. I don't even want to be looked at like, whoa, you did great. I'd be happy to be in the top 20, or 28. Give me 28. I'll take it. Just to be like, hey, we're not going to get pushed out by the next big institutional guy that comes in on any dump. Yeah. And if we do, we do. Hopefully we can partner with somebody else to make something else happen. But if somebody else comes in and feeds in, I'd rather feed all of our funds into
another community,
number 30 or something, and that is another community-based validator because of those issues. We see that there could be collision between a couple, and then that creates a big problem. And then again, it goes into that idea of we're supposed to be a community-based blockchain. How do you keep that going? You keep that going by supporting community-based projects and not worrying about being in the top 1 or top 10. If we were in the top 1, we'd figure out a way to get rid of some of our delegations to be in the top 5 or in the top 10, and
maybe bring up another one of those community-based validators.
Like say if we had 2 million tokens of our own that we already had staked, and to only be in the top 10, we only needed 2.5 million, right? Or the top 20. Then it's like anybody else that was still staking with us, we would unbond our own tokens, and then we would go stake with somebody else.
Yeah, exactly.
And we'd let the other people that are staked with us be part of our community, so they wouldn't feel like, oh, now I have to go unstake. Now I have to send my funds here, because a lot of people don't want to do the extra processes. Some people chase the extra processes though on the opposite end. They're like, oh, I want to go restake with this other validator because they have a 1% fee or 0.5% fee. Like somebody messaged me on Twitter the other day. They said, oh, your fees are too high. I'm like, it's 5% and we have 300,000 tokens. And we're giving back our validation fees, not 100%, but in part back to the community for our learn to earn objective, which we'll get into that in a minute.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
And we give back some of our fees to the community, and we're only asking 5%. Some people are in the top 10 and are taking 20%, 10%, and nobody, it's like, sure, they might get those comments also, but people are chasing that little percentage. Like, it's not free and it's not easy to run a validator. Otherwise, go do it yourself. Go support the community and ecosystem. Yeah. You've already seen how many validators fell out of not just the top set, just fell out in general because some of it's a pain in the butt, and it doesn't make it worth it to a degree. Mm-hmm. And to have a good manager that operates your validator that understands it, that's not going to rob you or rob anybody else, to have that faithfulness will sometimes require extra incentivization so you don't have that problem. So that was an issue, making sure that we have somebody to help figure that out and balance that out. Yep. We are running a couple things, not as what's the word? Like, I'm having trouble readjusting my name and adding some little things to our site to make it more like, boom, this is Rize, earn wise, right? Just giving it some of the character that I want to give it. I think that'll all be figured out in the next week. And then the other thing that I really want to get set up is our restaking. A lot of people are about this restaking thing. Mm-hmm. I'm like, restaking is cool. It's nice. You don't have to go on 100 times. Your APY is not going to be that much more significant on your restake. Yes and no, it will be, but for anybody that is truthfully and 100% being honest with the community, you're going to sell some of your assets. That's the idea of the inflation. your inflation is not to restake it all every day, all the time, just so you have this huge bag of Coreum that does nothing but grow, right? Like you get to a certain point, you're happy there. You should restake and compound some of it, and then the other part. And this is not financial advice. This is just what we do. Is we always restake and compound part of it, and then the other part we keep as a sell bag to pay for our own bills, operate, do things like that. But it'll depend varying on the market. Like, hey, if we don't need more money right now, we will stake more, and then we'll keep some as a sell bag. And if you're not doing that, and you're doing that, most of those people are getting they're getting hurt badly, and they have bad things to say about the ecosystem because they didn't understand the way that the inflation works. And they didn't understand that the way the API works. Sure, the API is high now, and it's doing X, Y, Z, but most of these guys that are promoting it and just saying pump your bags, restake, I bet you they got another fat wallet on the side that they're getting ready to sell on you. And they're hoping that you stake all of it.
Well, and I mean, the idea is, to have some passive income. I mean, that's part of the advantage of this staking system is to have, in my mind anyways, a passive income in the future. So I'm not too worried about what it's doing right now in the market. I have a belief in the project in a long-term view. So the rewards I'm earning now is a passive income. So like you said, depending on the market, depending on where you are in life and what your needs are, dictates what you do. But
yeah, I think my point was more of the people that complain about your fees and saying, and then where's the restaking at? Like it's a brand new ecosystem. You're earning a very good yield already. You can come in and restake with us manually. You don't got to come in every day. You doing it 10 times a day is not really going to increase your yield that much. Sure, if you like things more automated, but if you're on the market that much, enough to come in and complain on Twitter about a 5% fee, but then you're going to go stake with a centralized company like BitTrue and only get one, and then they charge 1%. Like, you're only helping the higher power hierarchy at the same time. You're not building up the community around you.
Yeah.
So we promote that once we get to a certain amount of tokens, and we're floating not in the bottom space, but say somewhere at least 28. Like we would willingly unbond some of our tokens, lose some of our own yield, and go deposit some of our own tokens to some of the other community ones if they drop down below us. It's just supporting the community.
Ideally, if to be decentralized community, I mean, we'd have 32 validators with roughly 3% voting power, right? And then you got some decentralization. I mean, obviously it's going to be pretty hard to achieve, but it just goes to your point that there's no sense having a bunch of big validators at the top running the whole show, because really that leaves everybody else just riding along on their whims, right?
Well, you think about it like this also. You take five of the top community-based validators, because you know that decentralized companies aren't going to come off a dime, and you say they're earning, if somebody had 10 million, they're earning at 20, I think it's 20% or 40, it's 500,000 tokens a year that they're earning just off of fees or whatever. Like, it blows my mind that they can't take 10 or 20% of that and then feed it back into other communities, and they still take that as a profit. Because even for them as a business, it would still be a tax write-off. But rather than worry about your damn taxes, worry about your community-based validators, because that's what it's supposed to be about, and then providing that decentralization. So like that's what we would do if we were in a higher tier. We would take part of our rewards. We don't need the rewards, and help keep continually raise some of the smaller validators to keep
that decentralization throughout.
And to keep the community around, rather than feel like they're always getting pushed out by the bigger guy, because that's what continues to happen in every part of our other ecosystem. So there's definitely some ways to do it, and I think that some moral talks should take place. And I feel like some of that's been happening more in the core council. So pretty stoked about that. Pretty stoked about being a part of the core council, and look forward to some more meetings and things with them. But otherwise for validators, I mean, I think that's really it, because some people are going to just say, oh, you sound like the guy that just wants to get free stuff. And I'm like, everything I do, I give away. It's just showing where some people's hearts are at in the community, and then the community can really decide. The community will see who's really about them and for them, and not just trying to be, the one or this or the next big thing. Like, we're not trying to be the next big thing. We're just trying to be something that really supports the people. And in the long run, look what Jesus did. He was just trying to be the one that supported the community, and he's been the last biggest thing for the last couple hundred years.
Yeah.
And
Right.
thousands of years, whatever it is. And it's 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 that more lifestyle that we're trying to live. It's just like, hey, giving is receiving, and you'll see within a little bit of time of how we're going to give back. So we can jump into our learn to earn section real quick.
Yeah, I'd love to. Yeah.
Yeah, so very simple. You come on, you listen to podcasts, you do webinars, um, you take some quizzes. Some places like OpenSea and a couple other places have you take a couple quizzes, you earn a little tiny bit of crypto, but then that's it. Like only 1 out of 5. This like our goal with the infrastructure that we're building is, if you listen to 10 Russell Brand podcasts in a row, those 10 you're going to receive rewards through that whole time. Also, we have AI, and maybe that's the AI. We can't tell you, but it listens to the podcast, and then it creates a quiz based on the podcast. And then that quiz is generated and tailored to you. And then you take the quiz, and then you can also be rewarded more. It shows your value, what we're calling value retention. Like, were you actually listening, or were you just trying to get paid?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you'll get paid even if just to listen to it. But then you're also going to get paid if you take a quiz on it, and then that's going to it forces retention because people are going to want to get paid. I'm sure some people will figure out ways around it and use AI and milk the system. It's like, good for you, good job, buddy, good job.
Good job actually not learning
Yeah,
something.
it's like, cool, rob the system, great. Like, let that sit well with your heart later, and you'll feel the grit in your teeth one day. So we say, stay strong, promote the community by just being a part of the community. You see somebody that needs some help, give them some help. It's not just about you feeling good or, oh, maybe this will pay me back later. No, it's just about doing what really feels right in that moment without any regard for self, and just giving, because giving is receiving. So with that, our validator, we take a portion of our validator rewards and we put that in another compounding wallet, and then the rewards generated from that wallet then go back to all of our people that participate in the ecosystem. The learn to earn. One of the partners that we partnered up with, I'm allowed to say his name, is Jack McDew. Let me see if I could share my screen real quick with you on this guy.
It's funny because I started in crypto. I was trying to, with a newsletter, try and onboard people into crypto, because so many people get involved and really don't understand what they're getting into. They just think, hey, I want to invest some money and get into crypto, and they really get destroyed quickly. And so I was always trying to encourage people to learn, and I always used the hashtag learn to earn. So when I ran across your site, it just resonated with me when you had the learn to earn on there. I'm like, this is perfect.
You had yeah, man, I feel it. It's just, I feel that there's enough money in the economy. If it's not about, a lot of people don't really care about getting rich. They just are happy with some basic needs met. Of course, once those basic needs are met, some of those desires do change.
Mm-hmm.
And the capabilities that are seen are like, oh wow. But I've met so many people that just are really like, wow, just to have a little bit of this, like I'm satisfied. And then once that's satisfied, there's always another satisfaction that wants to be met. But feeding back to each other just a little here and there, it makes such a big difference in the community. And it's not, there's something that feels so much deeper than just being right about it, or just doing it because maybe I'll go to heaven, or maybe I'll have good karma, or whatever your goal is. I don't care. For me, I want to let go of it all, and it just feels so right to give in whatever way possible.
All right.
Yeah. So, Mr. McAdoo, if you see this, we love you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Talk to you on Tuesday of April 2023. Beautiful man. This guy is great. He was number one underneath Joe Rogan right before COVID hit in terms of podcast.
Oh, okay.
He is going to be one of our first people that you can come on and listen to on the Rize ecosystem. You'll be able to listen to his podcast and get paid to earn to listen to his podcast.
Wow, that's
We believe
wild.
that the information that he presents is very good for community and humanity in general. He helped create Gaia TV with Dr. Joe Dispenza,
Oh, okay.
Greg Braden, and all those guys.
Okay.
His just his whole demeanor. I mean, if his beautiful little smile right there doesn't say it all, it's just he's a great, solid guy, and I'm really happy to be able to create some sort of partnership with him. And yeah, we'll have a direct RSS feed on our site, which just means that we can listen to his stuff live. And then as it's being recorded live, we have the AI that tailors questionnaires for people. If they'd like to take them, they can take them. They can earn. We're working on a couple different ways of payment because of restrictions with certain applications. Like Apple doesn't let people earn crypto in certain ways, or this whole hierarchy, just like the banks are doing. Oh, you can only buy $3,000 of crypto now. Oh, why? Because it's kind of bottomed out and you see it's going to go somewhere. So now you're basically trying to repress the fucking society even more. Thanks a lot. Just all that stuff. So it's pretty sad, but what he's building is very beautiful. He stepped away from Gaia TV, I believe. I'm not going to say this 100%, but after the communications and seeing some of the things that the people that run or fund it, sort of like Project Veritas, where they fund it, started trying to make too many calls and saying, oh, you can only talk about this or release this. So he was like, I believe people should know truth and feel truth and decide for themselves if that's their truth. There's certain things that you cannot deny are the truth, but certain things you could say, the world is flat or the world is round. Your choice, whatever. At this point, does that really matter if you never travel anywhere or do anything else? Like, what is it doing for you? So one of those things, like some things, I don't think that matter if they're ever really true, especially if you're not exploring that or doing that. It's like, are you happy and living your life? What else you got going on? Or are you just using something like that as an excuse because you're trapped in the matrix and you can't do anything else? Like, whatever it is. Anyway, Jack's a great guy. He has a lot of really great podcasts. On top of being able to come and listen, the reward platform. So we're working on different types of tiers of rewards. So we wanted to launch right away with the launch of Rize and NFT Marketplace, and then we also have a cross-chain bridge between Atom and XRP and Cosmos, which right now I believe that Sologenic is just using the multi-chain bridge, which is okay, it's cool, it's whatever, but we built one specifically for our users, and we're pretty stoked about it. It's just a cross-chain between Cosmos and XRP. I do have a couple other things being implemented where we'll have multiple cross chains involved in that.
Is that live now?
No, it should be by the 3rd, which is in 2 days.
Oh, really? Wow, nice.
Yes, it's going through the last stages of testing right now. So if it doesn't by the 3rd, I'm okay if it takes an extra week.
Yeah.
And I don't care who's mad at me about it. So just to let you know, I don't care about all your bitching because we want something to operate right and better for you. And if that requires extra testing, then that's what it requires. And
we're willing to take that extra measure just to make sure that what we're providing is safe, that it's good, that it's reliable for everyone else in the community.
Yeah, and there's a lot of that isn't put out, and that's why a lot of these projects go, oh, we're gonna offer you 100,000% yield. It's like, yay, and then most people get wrecked, and then they don't talk about it anymore because it didn't happen to them. So yeah, we want to create safety with that, but yeah, it's definitely very soon complete. I talked to my devs this morning, and things are looking very good with that. I did file for a grant for XRP with that, but I believe because, Coreum has a lot more money than us, and they have a lot of pool, and they're talking about their cross-chain bridge between this, and this. But again, they're not fully cross-chained yet, and they said maybe sometime in Q2 for their cross-chain bridge, which means I feel like they're still building it out. And again, I've talked with somebody on their team about it and told them I'm building it. I'm like, well, I have one. Do you guys really need to build another one, or have you started building it? Are you focused on it? I sent a grant into XRPL. We'll see. We probably won't get one for that either. I sent a grant in for smart tokens. We probably won't get that one either. I know that one of their head guys, Rize, does a lot of AI stuff. I feel like some of it's still who you know and how you get in, because the way that I've been communicated with by some of the people on the team, and that's what their lifestyle is. It's like, we can get you this or we can do that. It's like, well, why isn't it, hey, you guys are doing good work and you're supporting the community. Here's what you're going to get anyway. Or, hey, that's a good idea anyway. Not about who I know and what can happen. So, yeah, a little bit of weird vibes back and forth, but we don't care. We're still going to continue to build for the community. Um, we'll find a way to make some more money. We'll find a way to make it happen. Um, Jack here has over many million subscribers on that email list and times like that, and he's going to help us start a marketing campaign to really drive adoption to Rize. And in the process of doing that, some of that is going to go to Coreum because we're built on Coreum, and we hope that we are recognized for that in the long run. That we've been busting our ass and we're not just trying to make a validator to make some money. That is not our goal.
Yeah.
So with some of the stuff with Apple, we're probably going to have to reward people on what are called experience points. They can take those experience points then and come back onto our site and then convert those experience points either into a gift card that is maybe provided by one of Jack's third-party promoters, or directly back into crypto. But they won't just be able to receive crypto to a wallet through Apple because Apple has all its restrictions put up and in place. So pretty simple with that. Reward ratio and math is kind of hard to discuss because I have no idea yet. It's been a fun game trying to figure it out, but there's just so many particles of like how fast is the growth going to be? Because if Jack's people start coming on and trying to figure this thing out, that's going to be an overload on our ecosystem almost. So I'm asking him to like promote things a little bit slower in times of turning it out in terms of the learn to earn, and really making sure that we can handle the load of people. So I've been talking to my devs about that, and maybe being like, oh, we can take 100 people first, and then we'll like add 100 people every couple of days or something, just to make sure that we don't have to upgrade any infrastructure to handle the load of information coming in. And then as more people come in, then you have a reward system that will also be diluted. So how do you keep that math in place for the dilution of the process and still make it worthwhile to X individuals? So it won't just be from our validator that we help pay for the learn to earn. It will be from all of the marketplace fees. It will be from the sales of the membership NFTs, and it will be from the fees from our cross-chain bridge. There is, I believe, a 10 to 20% fund kind of variable that goes from the escrow into our development fund. So, but that goes back to the developers. It doesn't go back to me directly or the company directly. It all goes back to that. We do have a 5% legal fee that does come out, and then we leave it sitting in there compounding unless it is needed for some type of legal fees. We do have some lawyers on the team and some pretty solid terms and conditions wrote out to handle a lot of the people that try to take advantage of companies like us and do that. So that's it in terms of like what we take as a business. We take something to cover our butt on legal fees, but it doesn't come out unless it's needed to come out. And then the development of adding something, maybe something has a really cool feature and doing this. But a lot of it doesn't come out directly out of the initial sale. It goes into the escrow, and then the escrow smart contract takes a portion of the compounding interest and puts it into a development wallet, which is also then compounding. And then the development wallet doesn't get sold itself as an asset. It stays as a so say something happens to her and I as a team, and we can't operate the ecosystem anymore. That's okay. That's why we decided to give away the company to the community and to infrastructure. So our goal is to get the company fully away from us and just, if it's locked into a DAO or whatever that has to be locked into, the DAO of the NFTs, or if we can figure out a way to write this up to where AI owns the ecosystem, and then it runs it in collusion with the member NFTs. So that's sort of all in the process, in the works of just iron out some loose ends for that, where again, if anything happens to us and that, like, all of the money in the escrow is still locked in escrow. We can't do anything about it. Um, there is a way to take some money out of escrow, but it has to be voted on by the majority of membership NFT holders, and to move that money around and protect the ecosystem. No more than half of the value of the escrow will ever be depleted. So say there's a big fees and or some members want to leave, they can they can take their NFT and trade it back in for the cost of their membership, and then they could be out of it. But then that membership NFT no longer exists.
Gets burned.
Yeah, the NFT gets burned. So so if there's one person does it, then there's only 99, and then there's only 98, 97, 96. So they'll keep depleting the 100. But then if the ecosystem still wants to run, whatever the member's NFT is valued at that time that they decide to leave the ecosystem, then no matter what, half of that value stays in the escrow for life. And then that money for life keeps getting redistributed to the ecosystem, therefore creating that continuous loop like the object is itself. And like we want to keep things on an infinity flow and a self-sustaining ecosystem that powers itself. And we don't need to be involved in the process at all. We are really not involved in the process at all anymore. It's all smart contract based. It's running, and it'll run forever, even without the internet someday, because of things like technologies that XRP is creating with XPOP, payment systems without the internet, using radio wave frequencies, and
Yep.
really getting into another world of technology and a level of technology that is beyond our scope right now. But it sounds really cool when you read about it. Sometimes it's nice to just listen to something like that on an audio at nighttime with no lights on, and you can kind of visualize what they're talking about and
Yeah.
turn it into a little story.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah,
So
it's
so
go ahead.
you choosing to build on Coreum, you mentioned earlier. So was that because of the technology? Like, are you utilizing Coreum's smart token technology as an advantage to say if you were to do this on the XRPL, for example? Like, not to say one's better than the other and one's going to exist in the other, but is the actual Coreum technology providing your project some advantage, like with smart tokens or any other part of it?
Not yet. That's pretty simple there. Not yet. The smart tokens are, um, it's an inherently cool technology. I mean, all it really means is a bunch of little smart contracts that can communicate with each other, which blockchain does anyway. Um, so there's a couple ways that you can make it fun and do certain specific things with it. And there's probably some use cases that are above and beyond my pay grade, which hopefully when some of these other ideas come out from the other developers and community members, that those always spark new ideas. You hear something like,
Mhm.
wow, I never thought about that before. I've tried to use chat gpt and take the smart contract idea and generate some random crazy ideas like what could this do, what could this be, and it didn't really give me any great ideas. I'm pretty good with understanding how to load prompts into chat gpt to communicate certain things back to me, but it really wasn't giving me anything good that like smart contracts don't do already. And then there's another technology called Casper that has like built-in built-in things that you can do with other NFTs and tokenomics and other things like that I feel like are sort of like some smart token stuff. I feel like um, smart tokens are going to have some advantage, but I feel like there's other things that are already in play that could that can compete with it in a way,
Hmm.
not in a bad way or a good way. Maybe what's the word? Um, Embrace it or make it better, because
Right.
maybe if you take Casper's technology with Coreum and that, you join that together, it creates a more of an unstoppable beast.
Yeah, well, and that's the
Um,
key with interoperability. I think that's the key to everything is interoperability, and
yeah,
that's why for me personally, community is so important, right? So if you have another project or community wanting to work with another project, the community is a large part of that. Like you want to be part of a good community, a project that's growing and attracting good people and good developers and has a good vision. So
yeah, yeah, man, the Coreum blockchain, um, excited us, I believe, the most after I talked to Haley about it before was the idea of the community-based stuff. It wasn't really about the technology. It was like, sure, it's fast, it's quick. XRP sounded very intriguing. I have some devs that are very good with XRP, which took a while to find. I went to the XRP event out in Vegas and met some cool guys that have received some grants from them that are building bots and other things, but they just understand the XRP well. So I was very intrigued to build on that. And then Coreum kind of popped up, and I'm like, wow, well, we hold a lot of Solargenics, so we're going to receive a bunch of free Coreum tokens so we could use the free money that we're receiving and figure out a way to give back to the community because they're such a community-based blockchain.
Yeah.
So that's what we decided to do with running the validator node. Again, it wasn't to make the dollars, it was to create a non-hierarchical scheme to where we use Coreum's inflation to reward back our users and community as a whole. However that feels or looks to an individual, that's yeah, and we are again equal parts of that. So that's why I was pretty stoked about their technologies. Like, well, hey, they're really giving it away to the people, so let's give it away also. Why do we need to keep these X amount of tokens and do this with it? Why we're going to get inflation, we're going to get more over the next year, we're going to do this. Like all those we plan on staking or using to grow the infrastructure. It's not to afford our lavish life in Hawaii because we're not a lavish life in Hawaii.
No.
We literally live in a pool hut on somebody else's property so we can live close to the beach because we enjoy the beach. It's like living in a tiny home with an outdoor toilet. You know, we're not these wealthy millionaires living in $16 million homes, you know, running stuff like we live very frugal and we're okay with that. We enjoy nature more than we do any city building or anything like that. So just it helps us, I feel, stay connected to ourselves and to our heart in a lot of these processes. And yeah, it's been very humbling. So again, we that's why we like the Coreum community in the first place and to build on them. Sure, they got good tech. It's fast. It's basically, you know, the equivalent of XRP, but maybe a couple of little factors. I do like some parts of XRP better because I do like the consensus mechanism instead of the staking because they are having the liquidity pools come alive soon, so you will just be able to hold XRP and then earn more XRP or earn fees, whatever that is, if it's paid in a stable coin or if it's paid in a tokenized stock, however that is, it'll still be a way to help generate revenue and income to not just help us live our frugal lives, but other people have a little bit of sustainability and freedom to, you know, maybe focus on healing their body from them working too hard over the years and not really understanding that you don't have to, you know, beat yourself up to make a living, but we're whipped into that from our governmental schools and everything else that is being, you know, propagandized against us to make us feel like slaves and then keep us in that mentality. And we're trying to help people break free from that by using ecosystems like Coreum to help drive some social equanimity. And we really believe in that. So that's why we choose to live frugal. Hey, one day we might have that $1 million house. You know, we might have these other things. We have envisioned some of those great things. We were living in a really nice condo on the lake before all this started. We had a really, really nice 2 or 3 bedroom condo. It was two bedroom or three? 2 bedroom condo. We remodeled the whole thing ourselves. We ripped out all the walls, made it really open, beautiful, ocean view. I mean, lake view. We're not on the ocean. Yeah. And yeah, I mean, it was a cool life to live for a while, you know. And it was, we ended up selling it for a good chunk of change, and we ended up putting it all into crypto to really drive something else. We realized, hey, like that was interesting and cool, and it was nice to be able to bring people over to hang out and do this, but it was like
we needed something else.
Yeah, we needed something that really fulfilled the self, and I feel like that's what we're doing now. So we're thankful for Coreum for being a community-based project and, you know, giving away to the supporters and things like that. We hope that it continues to stay on that path and really support the smaller community validators and the smaller communities in general, not just the ones that have the most followers. Because how are you supposed to get followers unless you're being promoted by the bigger company that you're building on top of?
Yeah.
and the things that we're building. I've talked about it with a couple team members and the community, but it's like a lot of them just seem um, to shut it down. I don't know if it's because Coreum has, Sologenic, and Sologenic already has a marketplace, and doing that, it's like, um, promoting its own second infrastructure. It's like, well, is it really going to be about the tokenization of a bunch of um, just digital art, which most of it doesn't have any utility or really bring other value, maybe some inherent value to people, but is it going to bring really value that helps support the community
Hmm.
um, in in the long run? It's not just about today and tomorrow. It isn't an experience, but when it comes to the way that you promote stuff, it's like I think that really needs to take a precedence over like who is winning in that scenario.
Yeah.
Where is the
Well,
real value coming from in that scenario?
and
And
that's
then who is the real value going to in that scenario?
the
So
role of us as a community, and core
yeah,
council, and it's all of us that have to speak up. And that's why it was important to me to reach out to you guys to get some exposure on this. And I'm thrilled that it's opened up so much more during this conversation. But at the same time, I mean, it's important that we have the community that keeps control, or a good part of control of this blockchain. That's why we all got here. That's what we all got into this for, is the community owned and run blockchain. And I just seen, it was getting clear, like, when you said, like, you got all these community validators, and they're all at the bottom of this list of the 32 validators, and some of them are even offering the best rewards, but they're still down at the lower end of the spectrum. So it's like, man, we really got to work together to get exposure on this. And when I was at Cornova last week, and I had the opportunity to speak with Otto, and that's a big priority to him, and it seems to the team, is this, to build community, to bring in other communities to build on Coreum, such as you guys are doing. And it's exciting to see. It's unfortunate to hear that you didn't necessarily get looked at for a grant, or you're getting some lack of response on your project. But at the same time, this is a community blockchain, and I, as a community member, and my channel, I think it's important to highlight a project such as yours. And I think that's where our role is as a community, is to help bring you guys up into the spotlight. And it's a decentralized project, so me, we don't need anybody's permission to build and promote and get exposure to this. So I just feel I'm really thankful I got you guys on to discuss this here today, because I've learned a lot, and I'm also excited to explore some different avenues. We haven't even touched on the social media component of what you guys do. And are you actively building the social media component at the same time amongst all the other things you're telling me about today?
yeah. I'll give you a quick rundown of it all, real quick. The Holy moly, yeah. One last thing to cap on what you just said is like I noticed that the Coreum team and everyone is um, promoting all the institutional validators that come on, but what about the maybe they said something about core heroes or core apes or something like that, but it's like, what are any of these validators actually building for the community besides, okay, they have a validator, thank you for supporting and doing that for the community. But again, like what we've been building for a while now, and there hasn't been any type of shout out or anything, or even really a reach out to talk about it. I've talked about it with one person on the team, and I've sent the grant in, and I've done this and that, and it's like even response rates or anything like that. I was like, I just wish that there was a little bit more open, clear communication. We're talking about like, hey, these people are building something. It's like, what do you want more from me for credibility of what we're building? And part of this in the video, I don't want just to come out. I'd rather it come out later and just say like, oh, now you want to support us. Like you didn't even offer us a chance to say this and do that. And I've been shilling Coreum since day one. Everybody in my community, everybody around. I don't have a big following on Twitter. I don't have a big following on my social media. So it's kind of sad to say. I got kicked out of one of the Coreum groups because I was complaining about decentralization and then keeping things right or keeping things in a certain way. And they're like, oh, you gotta go. And it's like, who are the people that they're putting in charge of some of these other groups? Either way, we're still building. We don't give two shits. We care about the community for real, and then that'll all come out in the long run. We're not going to go anywhere, even if we can't build on Coreum. I have a multi-chain marketplace. We can take it anywhere. I'd only have to rewrite some contracts to have it implemented on another blockchain. We can implement our project on every blockchain in the long run. Is it going to cost me more money? Yeah, but once people see one little taste of what we have coming here,
they're gonna love it.
They're gonna love it either way, and it's gonna happen. And even if they don't love it, somebody's gonna love it enough to want to give back to our community and bless the community and see that we're not here to profiteer. We're here to give back. And yeah. So
social media.
I'm gonna throw the hands up so you see them in your video editing. We'll get into the other stuff you just talked about, social media and all that. So yes, we have a social media side, we have the cross-chain bridge, we have the multi-chain NFT marketplace. I could show you one quick clip, but this will probably be out by the time that you get depending on how fast you get this video edited. So these are the blockchains that we have available right now: Coreum, Ethereum, Binance Smart Chain, Polygon, and AVAX. You can come on and you can mint any one of these. Would you actually block out the website for now? I don't know how fast you're gonna get it edited, but I want to make sure that everything's solid because I only have a few people.
Oh yeah, yeah, no problem for sure.
All right, yeah, I just wanted to let you know that. So yeah, block out the site for now, but the these are the blockchains that we have available, and these are the ones that are coming very soon: Near, XRP, Cosmos, Solana, Hedera, and Tezos. We already have all of the contracts wrote for these. It's just implementing them in. So that means that every one of these chains, now if you list one NFT right here, every one of these chains can now see your NFT if they choose to be on our site. Wow. So it really opens up a better doorway and pathway for people in terms of that. And then the social media side, I wish I could show you more of it, but because we just implemented everything in the mainnet a couple days ago, so we can have the community start testing it, I can't show you the social media things. But if you saw like an Instagram post, and at the bottom corners of the Instagram post, there is the like, comment, or share, right? We have those features for all of our NFTs also. You can leave comments directly on the NFTs. They won't be tied to the metadata. They'll just be tied to the marketplace.
Okay.
Pretty much you can like NFTs on any site, or you can follow collections the same way. You can direct message for an NFT. So we have a direct messaging system built in. Let me see if I can move that. So inside of the profile page, we have my profile, messages, my collections, your watch list. You can create your activity log, tutorial, light mode, dark mode, settings. We like our message section. You can type in a user's name in here and then start to chat with them. We have a couple other more intuitive features coming into the chat. But say I direct message you about a certain NFT, then a link or that NFT will come up in our messages, and I'm gonna say, hey, I'd like to purchase an NFT off you if it's not for sale. It's a good way to like reach out to people to try to buy their NFTs or offer them something for it. And then all of that can be done through our backend like transferring process. You don't gotta send anybody any. Do not send anybody anything without using our process, because if you lose your NFT, that's on you, and that is clearly written in our terms and conditions. Just to let you know, you know, if you don't read terms and conditions, just know that most of them protect the business very well, and you're shit out of luck for your stuff, and we don't want to see that for you. We want to see you do it right. So yes, use the systems that we have in place to operate, to sell and trade your NFTs. If you don't do it privately, you can still do it on there. You're not going to hide your information from the law when it comes down to taxes and all that. That's why they want to use blockchain, so everything's more transparent. You know, I think that's why, even though there's a big debate, you know, between certain politicians, it's not really a debate; it's a show. Some of them see like it's going to be hard to hide their dirty money, and because of blockchain. But that's why there's, you know, private ledgers being built and other things like that. But it still be recorded, and all the information will still be there and a lot more transparent. So yeah, it's gonna be an interesting world we're headed to. But regardless, those are some of our social media aspects. Then we also have a blog section. Let me see if I can pull this up here. That's not a completed site. So this is almost done here. I had some sizing issues. I didn't like the way that some of this was wrote, so we'll just scroll. Don't pay attention to this right here. What we are, discover NFTs. This is all being updated right now. It's almost ready. This is our landing page. So we'll have a community blog section also. You can come on, sort of like, you remember the old MySpace?
Yeah.
So basically, we're kind of revamping a MySpace because a lot of the NFT stuff, there's no organizational features of the NFTs. Like you just have NFTs and that's it, right? You can see them all. They're all there. The best thing you could do is like if they're part of a collection, then you can see them in the collection. Like whoa, like it doesn't really give anybody a chance to really
have any individuality in between it, or really to be able to express themselves artistically, because that's what NFTs mostly are, is artists coming out and trying to express themselves in their art in it.
Nicely said.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Just really, we are trying to create something where you can really express not just, hey, I'm going to use this as my picture and now I'm an ape. Yay. Like, why not take this, add this to your profile, a blog that you write about an NFT that you like. So say this is your NFT, right next to it, you'll be able to put something like this and then it's a blog, or it's just a bold statement. It says, hey, this is my #1 piece or my favorite piece. You'll be able to do that. You'll be able to, we have a bunch of different features on the marketplace. They're customizable profile features that are coming.
So just like you were able to customize your MySpace page back in the day of like changing the background and putting this thing here and that thing there, you're still going to be able to do that on our page. Yeah. So in that way, it's going to be your own artistic input into it.
Yeah, it'll be your space. Yeah. It's just an NFT MySpace in terms of the profile, and that is a paid feature on our platform. It is not a monthly subscription or anything. It is, we thought about doing something like that, but we didn't want to feel anybody like they felt obligated to do something repetitively. So we decided to just go on a fee-based system. So for each feature that we offer on our membership, it's different features are just different one-time costs. That's it. Then you own it for life. If you own a membership NFT, then you get all of the features for free. If you want to be one of the members, then you get any of the paid features. You can put a blog right next to your NFTs. You can have your NFTs flip around. We have what are called DNA and pyramid views, where you can list your NFTs to where they look like a pyramid or DNA, and they'll just kind of like float around. We have some ones that look like a sphere that do that also, so you can like view all of your NFTs or just collections like that. They'll rotate. You can click one. Just kind of makes things cool for certain individuals if that's what you like. Yeah. We have a really cool feature where you can grab the NFT and you can shift it over here and you can leave it there. You can move one here. You can move one there. You can really organize your page like it's your own little web page. It's your space. You have control over it. You can move it around. If you want another feature and you want to present it to us, then present it to us, and I'm sure we'll probably agree that it's needed, because we've heard of a lot that we didn't think of before that we're like, yeah, we need to do this. My ultimate goal with the personalized profile for the social media is to have it more of like a Canva-based style NFT marketplace, to where the marketplace is pretty standard. You don't want to get too confusing with all that. Keep it the same. We're not trying to go high-end art. We're just trying to go public community stuff. But we want you to be able to make your stuff look like your stuff. You want to present it like that. You want to really highlight something. You want to really just talk about something, and you want some community feedback the same way. So you'll be able to do it all in one place with our social media platform. So pretty stoked about that. We are going to implement like one or two simple games, like some coin flip games, other things like that. Some people enjoy playing those games. For me, I don't. I don't really want to spend my my existence playing stuff like that. I don't. But if other people do, that is why there is many options in life and people want to do them. So we're presenting that for some of the people that would like to play, and we're down to implement some other games. We're not going to do any type of shooter games or stuff that promotes violence. It'll be simple, fun games. We're about uplifting and evolving. And if you don't feel that way about those games, then you can go somewhere else because that's what we promote around here, and that's the vibe and the energy that we want to keep with. Um, we have so that's our social platform, and then we have the validator node, of course, which also rewards the users. Oh, and all of the fees from the sales of the customized profile also go back into the escrow. So we don't take any of that either. Every dollar that's made goes back in escrow to support and grow the community and re-support the community, especially through the learn to earn section. So that's where really everything feeds back into. Same the validator fees, that goes back to that also. The other part of the validator fees grows to help grow our holdings in the validator and to give away to charity. This is a mock-up page I made. This is not our last site, but you'll be able to show part of it. So what our validator homepage is going to look like, this should be ready in about another 4 to 5 days. So we're calling ourselves the Evocational Validator, which is just talking about education and evolving.
Nice.
And then we're a non-custodial platform where you can stay ahead of the curve with our impeccable staking solutions. You can go ahead and go right to staking. We tell you a little bit about staking rewards and how they work. Same thing. It'll just send you right to be able to stake with our validator. Let you know how you can earn validator fees. Our platform provides a unique opportunity to earn validation fees through engaging activities like listening to podcasts, taking quizzes, and reading articles focused on growth, development, and technology. Funds from the marketplace sales also go to the community to keep learning, earning, and evolving. Learning, evolving, and earning. This feature is coming soon. We're not taking the money and doing anything with it. It's just continually compounding in the wallets. The donorship, same thing with a few of these other companies are doing, which we love the idea and we always love giving back. Clearly, that's what we've been building this whole time, but we're going to take another portion of that and then give it to what we're going to call registered charities, where people can come on and register with us, and the 100 members will vote and put their charities in place, and then whoever wins the vote that month for that charity, then that charity will go to them, and then they go to the bottom of the list, and the next charity gets some money.
Nice.
We're going to try to push out to a couple things, and then mainly charities that are focused on evolving, and then really not most charities that you give money to, they keep so much of it to provide for infrastructure and that. So definitely vetting out charities very thoroughly. Our first charity is actually called the Radiance Center in Haiku, Hawaii. This beautiful woman, she's like 70, 74, 75 years old. Her life story is amazing. The stuff that she's been through and how she still continues to love and just share love with the community is mind blowing.
Her and her husband fostered probably over 100 kids over their lifetime. Wow. Together, and she still keeps in contact with most of them now today, and still does classes and courses of how to take care of elderly patients with kids and how to farm and how to grow things, and it's just the most beautiful thing in the world.
Yeah, she has over 10 or 15 younger adults living with her now, just like helping take care of the community around her house. They have dinner together every night. They do another Sunday get together. It's all about focus on learning how to love each other better. And there's normally like 45 children from the island that come and meet up there. So it's a really good hub for for love. It's really beautiful. So yeah, she's gonna be one of our first donors, and she should also be on our podcast because she's 70-something years old and still starting to do and doing videos about loving and tantric sex and all type of just interesting, beautiful qualities that really resonate well. And so we'll be having her podcast on our stuff also, and you'll be able to listen to that and earn some rewards.
Right on. And so where's your community gathering right now, and how to become involved? Like myself, I'm interested in membership. So what's that look like? Where or like is your community on Discord or Twitter? Like where's your community focused right now?
Yeah, we have a Discord. I haven't really been focused on promoting or doing any of that yet, so it's just kind of feeling the organic stuff, like who sees it, who likes it, who wants to really be part of it. A lot of people are so more worried about money right now and how they're going to do this and that, and I understand it's definitely a struggle. But if you focus more on your goals and your internal states, a lot of that'll come to you also. So yeah, community is being built on Discord, um, and we have Twitter is the easiest for me because I'm on there more often to just communicate with other individuals. Um, and and again, in terms of community, it really end up becoming it'll come back to our site once it's out. So I'll just start integrating some more people into there, and as much as they want to be. If they don't want to be, that's cool. If you just want to come on and learn to listen, like I don't. Sometimes I feel very introverted for a week or two. I don't want to talk to a bunch of people. I really need to focus on my own growth and development. So I won't be in the community, but know that I'm working on myself to be a better part of the community. So yeah, Discord for now, Twitter definitely, but once our site is live to everyone in the public, then we'll have community blogs that we can communicate within there. We'll have the whole nine. We have an application also being built for the phone, so it's a lot easier to just upload and listen to the podcast and music right off your iOS or Android device, and to be able to learn and earn from that, as well as come on and communicate with the community, and then hopefully have some of our therapeutic AI devices built in to where if you're struggling and you can't really talk to anybody that's helping you out, and you just feel like everybody's responding in the wrong way. Sometimes something with no feelings and only a bunch of logic that um, it's it has just a different kick sometimes when it really wants to help you break down a wall. Uh, but yeah,
I'm really
that's
excited
really
to see that. I'm really excited to see that. That sounds amazing, actually. So I really look forward to that.
yeah, it should be a really beautiful process. This image here just kind of explains um, what it's all about. It's important to be intentional and about what you consume and you seek out. That's why we're choosing not to have talk about the shooting video games and all these like just all the shit that doesn't really matter to us at least. And if it matters to you, again, that's great. And it's maybe not your community. We're about lifting each other up and rising and loving up. So it's all about rising together. And then our earn wise section, we just thought earn wise sounded kind of catchy, so we wanted to use rise, earn wise. Come on and rather just earn. You're earning in a wise way that evolves yourself and those around you. This is all coming soon. We offer a little, shows you how it works. Rize is capable, and what is Coreum, and then a little contact us form if needed. So this will be what our validation page will be looking like. We have. Let me see if I can show you this. This will be what our page looks like. For our validator. So this will be where if you press validator right here, we're going to leave these three buttons for here just to make it easier for new users to find our airdrop, our validator, and our bridge. You'll be able to connect one of these wallets, and then this shows the Coreum stats. This shows our validator address and then how many tokens that we have staked in our validator. This is our donorship program, to where we give away to the charities. If you would like to donate some of your rewards directly, you can also do that right here on our page. I try to give it different color variation, so it wasn't, it's like donate, donate, and then you'll have to agree with this before you donate. So you make sure that you're donating, that you're not claiming rewards or doing something else. So I wanted to make sure that was very clear to people. And then here's our earn wise section where it'll show how much we have earned in the ecosystem, and then this is what our distribution wallet is. So after we earn the rewards, that goes to the distribution wallet, and then this will show how much we distributed to users for participating in our earn-wise section. And then this shows your tokens. This will show your available balance. Everything's, I think, pretty clear. It might feel a little confusing at first, but if you just take the time to read the words, you'll see. We will have these little heads here. If I zoom in, these little heads will be little information buttons. As you hover your mouse, it'll show you like you need more information on this. It'll give you little pop-up boxes to keep everything nice and clear and concise for you. Uh, this is still this is just a UI development site, so it's not the UI. This is just something that again I created last night. This is the claim section, so I'm pretty stoked about this. I'm hoping that this all goes 100%. The standard claim rewards are right here. I try to highlight the amount of core that you do have, so you can just go ahead and claim those if you want. We're going to have a auto stake refeature. I don't think that we have to use the Restake app. I just put that in there for right now. But the restake, everybody likes, like, oh, I get the restake. Again, I'm not really big on the restaking, especially because I like to be able to take some out of the bag and then move it around. Plus, our smart contract, we can't have our main funds on validation in that because our smart contract does part of that for us. Where in terms of if we have to add funds manually, but then once the funds are added, the smart contracts go ahead and they send it to the donorship section, the earn Rize section, and then the other sections that are involved in the ecosystem. So none of that has to be hands-on with us. And then we don't have control. The ecosystem itself does. And again, even if we step away, it is still going to continue to go. And that's the idea. Oh, and then here's the cool one here. This claim restake. So I like this the best. You can slide this little scaler over and say I only want to claim or restake 30%. This will let you do the max, or I can go 50% or 10% or anywhere in between. I wanted to do minimum 30% restake because we also have to pay the validation. We have to pay the fees for this part since we're the contract doing it. So say I only want to restake 30%. I slide the little slider over to here, and then that will let me restake just 30%, and then it puts the rest into my bag that I might want to sell later or I might want to use for something else. Nice. So it gives you the opportunity to still focus on some compounding interest while still being able to pull some of your rewards out, which I'm really stoked about because that's the way that I love to operate, and I have seen it to be the most beneficial over time is doing that without having to manually go on and do it all the time. Once this is set up, it's set up. You can turn it off just like you can in any other wallets. You can turn off authorization for auto stake features. So yeah, that's being built out right now. Really stoked on that coming to fruition. So look out for that. I think that you'll see that's really beneficial, and it's nice to see like, hey, I got a little bag on the side that I can do what I want with, and I don't have to go on and click yes, no, agree all the time. I can focus on other things that I want to do. So pretty stoked about that.
Yeah, it's looking really good. Really excited to get this out here. Yeah, for sure.
And then what was the last thing here? Pretty sure this is plenty of content for you to do the first one.
I mean, we're gonna have to meet again. We're gonna have more to talk to as your projects grow, and you guys have obviously put a lot of time and energy and resources into this, and I'm just shocked that I've learned so little about this. I've spent more time involved in Coreum research than most people, I think, and I still didn't know half of what you showed me here today. So it's very exciting to see what's getting built on here.
Well, we thank you. Hey, somebody gave us 2,000. Thank you.
Thank you.
Nice.
Yeah, so although recap on that, this is where we're at. We're not number one. We are number 32 in terms of voting power, I believe, still. Yep. So I'm sure there'll be some growth today and over the next 2 or 3 days. So any type of advertising that gets out to promote some of these guys are really cool. I talked with them. They seem like pretty legit people.
Yeah, they've been sharing the idea of community validators need the support, and that's what I liked, and it was actually one of their tweets that inspired me to get in touch with the community validators and say, hey, like if you guys need some exposure, I don't have a massive audience, but I'll do what I can with what I got, and I want to highlight what's going on here because we got to get you guys off 32 and up the ladder there a bit because I want to see what you guys can do. Like you have some amazing products being developed here, and there's a lot of people above you on that list that are just here, a centralized exchange, just taking our money for holding our tokens. So like as a community member, and I know most of our community would much rather support a project like this, and I'm sure a lot of it they just don't know. They just don't know, like what you guys are doing here. So hopefully, this is a small part of bringing awareness to that, and I'm sure as you guys are rolling out, you have your own marketing plan to bring it out. But I'm really excited for what lies ahead for you guys.
Awesome, man. Yeah, thanks for the support.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, it's just interesting to see who's delegating to who and why, with different promotions and what that means. So I think that's about it. We're pretty wrapped up. We got a few other things to do today.
Yeah, no, that was really good, guys. Like I said, it far exceeded my expectations. I wanted to draw light to the validator issue. We've definitely done that, and I've learned a whole bunch more. Definitely want to look into membership of your community there, the NFTs.
Yeah, we've sold 30 of the membership NFTs. There are this one's badass. Posted this one.
Wow.
So like for me to pay for each one of these different backgrounds and do something like that, it's like an extra $20 or $30 just to create it. So a lot of them I just use the same background, but these can be inherently be put anywhere you want. You can even have it like on the picture wall in your house, and it'll look like it's reflecting. You have like a beach picture, and then it'll be on the beach, or it'll be here, wherever you want. Just kind of play with them, enjoy them. They're nice meditative pieces when you really give them a little bit of time, especially with the meditations that are coming along with them.
And so these NFTs are your membership NFTs? Yeah, nice.
Yeah. So these again, they have a possibility of getting you whitelisted for the developers that make these. They also make 3D avatars, 3D spaceships, and the whole nine. The creators that create these pieces are also creating a ecosystem with the meditation and just spaceships and all this other fun stuff about preserving humanity through all these different portals and everything else. It's super beautiful and interesting. I can't say much because of the way that it just a lot of other non-disclosures they have going on, but it's really beautiful. But one of their oh goodness, how do I say this? One of their oh man, where was I going here? Shoot. Sorry.
No,
it was
you're just saying another one of the cool things about
I mean, yeah, there's so many, but I can only say so much
yeah,
right now.
Yeah, no, yeah.
Sucks. They have here we go. One of the creators of this, he's a really good DJ. Like his music just really moves this, like just no matter what you like, if you close your eyes and most people don't want to dance or feel certain ways because of anxiety. When you really come to, people are going to worry about how I'm moving or the way I'm doing this or that.
Yeah,
and he has some music that really just opens up that doorway and gets you moving. And he is also one of the creators of these, and he has this thing you can go to online. He holds online raves. He started it around COVID. He's had 10,000 people at a time come to these online raves where they put their VR headset on, they wear a haptic vest, and then they have to move and they have to dance for the spaceship that they get on to go fly to another realm so they can go explore this other realm. And when you're together with 10,000 people all across the world doing something like this and moving in that way, it's a whole nother. It's crazy. And it's so realistic. It's crazy.
Amazing, man. blowing my mind. Well, it looks like we lost him. Hate to close out without saying thank you to them. Mark and Haley, absolutely wonderful people. Looks like they're building some amazing things on Coreum. One of the few people that I know that are building something on Coreum at this time. I'm sure there's going to be more announcements in the days ahead, but looks like they've been on this for quite a while. Very excited to see where this goes. Definitely going to be telling you more about these guys as their project evolves. So like I said, this video was meant to highlight the issue of community validators and the importance of us supporting them. It's our way to have our voice maintained and relevant on this new blockchain that we're all invested in. So I'm gonna wrap this up. Sorry we lost the internet at the end there. Really appreciate their time today. I hope you look into them further. This is not financial advice in any way. This is, for me, it's about building community, building relationships, and it looks like I've definitely met two amazing people that I want to get to know better. So hopefully you find some value in this video. Please like and subscribe. Peace and prosperity to all. Have a good day.